Hey class, I just wanted us to review some of the information we've learned so far because we are now moving more into the details of particular debates around bioethics. So I'm just going to draw a little bit and kind of review where we've been. Okay, so we started with thinking about, all right, we have 4 branches of ethics, right? We have meta-ethics, we have applied ethics, we have descriptive ethics, and we have normative ethics. So we have meta-ethics, which is questions about what morality itself is. Descriptive ethics, which describes how ethics are practiced by people in the real world. Normative ethics, which seeks to create theories to tell us how we should act. And applied ethics, which deals with ethical questions within the real world under a specific sector of society. Okay, so after this introduction, we went a little bit deeper into meta-ethics. And there's multiple questions in meta-ethics. I'll just branch this into 2. Someone could ask, what is morality? That's a common meta-ethical question. The one we explored was, where does morality come from? And from there, we talked about 3 different theories or views of where ethics comes from. And we said it could come from God, which is known as divine command theory. Could come from society, which is moral relativism, and evolution, which is sort of a biological determinist view. And a lot of people have a mixture of these combined into one theory of where morality comes from. Then we looked into descriptive ethics. And descriptive ethics, again, has lots of things. So one would be, let me go back to black here. Would be basically just asking, like, how are we different? How are societies different in a moral sense? And why are societies different? Did I spell societies correctly? Societies. And the how, I mean, you could talk about every single society under the sun. We didn't do that. What we did do is we talked about why they're different. And the reason why they're different is because of socialization. Right? And we even went into the different types of socialization. Do another color here. We talked about primary, secondary, and anticipatory. So socialization at home, socialization outside the home, and socialization based on your identities and your demographics. Then we jumped into normative ethics, which seeks to make theories. And we looked at the 3 major ethical theories. And those are consequentialism, virtue ethics, and deontology. Consequentialism looks at the consequences of an action, and that's how you know if something is right. Deontology looks at your moral duty. Did you do what is expected of you as a member of society? And virtue ethics, are you embodying particular virtues in your life? So consequence, action, and character, the distinctions. And then finally, we went into applied ethics. And there's so many different branches of applied ethics. One could be, and obviously we're a bioethics class. So we talked about bioethics, but there's also business ethics as an example. Business ethics. There's environmental ethics. There's lots. Okay. And now within bioethics, we have gone into two different, let's say, topics within bioethics. All right. The first was bioethical concepts. And the next was research standards or ethical standards. Okay. So when we looked at bioethical concepts, we looked at 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And research ethics standards, we looked at 3. I'm going back to, what color is that? Blue. Okay. So we talked about public health. We talked about bodily autonomy. We talked about informed consent. Just move this around. Oops. And we talked about personhood. Just gonna move that one. That's definitely a little messy. Okay. Public health, the health of everyone as a society, or members, particular members of the society. Bodily autonomy, the right to decide what happens to your body. Personhood, who and or what gets legal person status. And then informed consent, the idea that you get to choose to be part of research. You consented to it, so you agreed, and you have all necessary information. So it's an informed choice. And these 4 concepts are what underlie basically many of the debates in bioethics, whether that be abortion, vaccination, gene editing, cloning, lots of stuff. And then in research ethical standards, there are 3 that we highlighted that are now part of modern research practices. One of them being informed consent. Other being IRB approval. So an institutional review board approves your research before you can start to make sure it's ethical. And then psychological debriefing, checking with the person afterwards, logical, to make sure that they understood what happened in the study, understood the purpose of it, how they felt afterwards, and then directing them to counseling if they need it. Okay, so just to recap, we looked at the 4 major branches of ethics. We dove into meta-ethics and asked where morality comes from. Then we dove into descriptive ethics and looked at why societies are different from the point of view of socialization. We jumped into normative ethics and looked at the 3 ethical theories of how we should behave. Then we are now finally into the applied ethics, bioethics, which is what this whole course is. And we looked at some bioethical concepts that underlie many of the debates and controversies and moral dilemmas of bioethics, and now I've touched onto the modern research ethical standards. Hope that was helpful, and have a great day, guys.